Magnus the Red, the Crimson King, the Cyclops, a name whispered with a mix of awe and regret throughout the Imperium of Man. Once a favoured son of the Emperor, a powerful Psyker, and the Primarch of the Thousand Suns Legion, Magnus now stands as a demon prince of Tzeentch, the Changer of Ways. His fall from grace is one of the most tragic and pivotal events in the Horus Heresy, a catastrophic civil war that reshaped the galaxy and irrevocably crippled the Emperor's grand vision. Understanding why Magnus succumbed to the seductive promises of chaos requires a deep dive into his character, his flaws, and the circumstances surrounding him, and the machinations of the ruinous powers. Greetings all, I'm your guide the Archivist. Today I'll dive into why Magnus fell to chaos. Before we begin, please make sure to like and subscribe waypoints down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. Magnus was always exceptional. Even among his Primarch brethren, he possessed unparalleled psychic ability. He could perceive the warp with clarity that bordered on prescience, manipulate energies with ease, and communicate across vast distances without reliance on conventional technology. The Emperor, recognizing Magnus's immense potential, entrusted him with safeguarding the secrets of the warp and understanding its mysteries. This charge, however, proved to be both a blessing and a curse. Magnus craved knowledge, a thirst that bordered on obsession. He believed that understanding the warp was crucial to humanity's survival and advancement. He saw the potential for controlled psychic power to be a tool, a weapon, and a source of enlightenment. This belief put him at odds with many others in the Imperium, particularly those who viewed Psykers with suspicion and fear. Branding them as potential vessels for demonic influence. The core of Magnus's tragedy lies in his hubris. He possessed unwavering faith in his own abilities and believed himself capable of controlling and mastering the warp. This led to recklessness, a willingness to experiment with dangerous forces, and a tendency to disregard warnings and counsel from those he considered less knowledgeable. He underestimated the seductive power of chaos and the insidious nature of its influence. The Council of Nika, convened by the Emperor to address the growing concerns surrounding the use of psychic powers within the legions, was a pivotal moment in Magnus's fate. Following the experiences of the early Great Crusade, the Emperor, influenced by voices such as Leman Russ and Mortarion, decreed a ban on the unsanctioned use of psychic power. He deemed it too dangerous, too unpredictable, and too vulnerable to the predations of chaos. Magnus, convinced of his own ability to control the warp, vehemently opposed the edict. He saw it as a step back for humanity, a crippling of their potential. He believed that the Emperor, blinded by fear, was making a grave mistake. Despite his protests, the Edict of Nika was passed, silencing Magnus and forcing him to abandon his research and training programs for the Thousand Suns. This event deeply wounded Magnus. He felt betrayed by the Emperor, misunderstood and unjustly punished. The erosion of trust between father and son had begun, laying the groundwork for future manipulations. He withdrew from the Imperium, focusing his efforts on safeguarding his legion and continuing his studies in secret, fueling his isolation and making him vulnerable to the whisperings of the warp. The details of the council painted a bleak picture for Magnus. As Magnus retreated into his studies, he became increasingly exposed to the forces of the warp. Tzeentch, the chaos god of change, ambition and sorcery, saw an opportunity to exploit Magnus's hubris and his growing resentment towards the Emperor. The Changer of Ways began to whisper promises of knowledge and power and salvation. Tzeentch presented himself as a benevolent guide, offering Magnus the secrets to controlling the warp, to understand the forces that threatened to corrupt humanity. He offered a way to circumvent the Edict of Nika, unlocking the full potential of the Thousand Suns. He subtly stoked Magnus's distrust of the Emperor, painting him as a tyrant who sought to control and suppress his own sons. Magnus, desperate to prove his worth and to protect his legion, began to listen. He allowed himself to be seduced by the promises of Tzeentch, accepting the gifts offered and delving deeper into the forbidden knowledge. He justified his actions by believing he was acting in the best interest of humanity, unaware that he was walking a path towards damnation. The pivotal moment when Magnus's fall came with the outbreak of the Horus Heresy. When Horus Lupercal, the Emperor's favoured son, revealed his rebellion, Magnus, in a desperate attempt to warn his father, used his psychic powers to breach the Imperial Palace's defences and communicate directly with the Emperor. This act, however, was disastrous. Magnus's psychic intrusion tore a hole into the Imperial Palace's protective wards, weakening its defences against the warp and allowing demonic incursion. The Emperor, already facing a galaxy-wide rebellion, perceived Magnus's actions as a treacherous betrayal, a confirmation of his worst fears about the dangers of unchecked psychic power. Without attempting to understand Magnus's intentions, the Emperor ordered Leman Russ and the Space Wolves to bring Magnus to Terra to face judgment for his actions. However, influenced by Horus, the order was twisted into one of extermination. The Space Wolves descended on Prospero, the homeworld of the Thousand Suns, and unleashed a brutal and devastating attack. The burning of Prospero was a massacre. The Thousand Suns, caught off guard and unprepared for such a ferocious assault, were slaughtered. Magnus, witnessing the destruction of his legion and the betrayal of his father firsthand, was shattered. He realised the full extent of his mistakes and the price of his hubris. With Prospero burning and his legion decimated, Magnus was faced with a terrible choice: annihilation or damnation. Tzeentch offered him a way out, a means to save his legion from utter destruction. He promised Magnus power, immortality, and the ability to reshape reality to his will. In his despair and desperation, Magnus accepted Tzeentch's bargain. He surrendered his soul to the Chaos God, becoming a demon prince in the process. This act saved the remnants of his Thousand Sons, transforming them into Rubricae, spectral warriors bound to their armour, forever trapped between life and death. Magnus's fall was complete. He had traded his loyalty to the Emperor for the powers of chaos, his aspirations for knowledge, for servitude to a malevolent entity. He became the very thing he sought to prevent, a pawn of the warp, a symbol of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the seductive power of chaos. The details of his agreement remain shrouded in mystery, a testament to the deceitful nature of Tzeentch. Magnus the Red's tragic fall serves as a cautionary tale within the Warhammer 40k verse. It highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition, the importance of humility, and the insidious nature of chaos. His story is a reminder that even the most well-intentioned individuals can be corrupted by power, and that the path to damnation is often paved with good intentions. The consequences of Magnus's actions will continue to reverberate throughout the galaxy. The Thousand Suns, forever bound to his will, remain a potent force for chaos, seeking to unravel the fabric of reality and spread Tzeentch's influence. The psychic wound on the Imperial Palace, caused by Magnus's breach, continues to weaken its defences against the warp, a constant threat to the heart of the Imperium. Magnus the Red, the Crimson King, the Cyclops, stands as a testament to the devastating consequences of pride and the corrupting power of chaos. His story is a tragic reminder of the fragility of hope and the enduring darkness that lurks within the warp. His details will forever be etched in the annals of the Imperium as a somber warning. And so I have now covered the content for this video, but if there's anything that has been missed, please share them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like the like and subscribe waypoints down below. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.